Aku merantau duduk di negeri orang, beratur batu dari kampung aku. Hening aku hija memang dok setepak, hidup pindah rando macam orang nomak. Nak cari kedai hok ada masakan kampung, tapi payah sungguh makanan segera hok setimbung. Ni aku malah duduk bandar besar, kalau sesak musim ketan tak tahu pala ekor. Nak balik kampung.
Welcome to International Conference on Agriculture, about all amazing talks and discussions that we're going to have in these 2 days. I'm Nur Fatiha Hasanuddin from the Faculty of Bioresources and Food Industry, UNIZA. I'm your moderator for this session. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some announcement. Please make sure your microphone is in mute position. If you have question, please post your question in the chat box. I will read your question during the Q&A session at the end of this presentation. This presentation will take about 20 minutes, followed by Q&A session for 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored and pleased to welcome our first keynote speaker, Mr. Herman Mingram Yarza from Mexico. Hello, Mr. Herman. Can you hear me? The presentation begins. Allow me to introduce our respected speaker. Mr. Herman Mingram Yarza is an independent plant breeding consultant and maize breeder at Green World Genetics Sendirian Berhad. He is a specialist in the development of maize varieties and hybrids with 12 years experience in traditional maize breeding. He graduated with master degree from Colegio de Postgraduados, Mexico in 2012. From 2008 to 2012, he undertook a series of programs with committees globally under CIMMYT, the most famous international maize and wheat improvement center in Zimbabwe and Mexico. In Zimbabwe, he worked as a researcher in plant breeding under a doctoral internship. His achievements include identification of the most desirable characteristics of maize as well as training of rural farmers for an effective crop management. In Mexico, he worked as a research assistant of a maize breeding program called Harvest Plus, which focused on the biofortification of maize with provitamin A, iron, and zinc. From 2013 to 2015, he was a research assistant at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, United States of America. During this period, his work had contributed to the identification of maize land races from different regions adapted to Wisconsin. In Malaysia, he was a research and development manager in maize breeding at Green World Genetics, GWG. He pioneered the maize breeding program for the company as well as developing network to promote the exchange of knowledge, resources, and technology between GWG and Mexican institutes and universities. From 2019 onward, he is a plant breeding consultant for GWG, and he continues the formal connection between GWG and CIMMYT for knowledge, resources, and technology exchange. Currently, he is funded by GWG to carry out his PhD study at University Sultan Zainal Abidin, UNIZA, Terengganu. Okay, without any further delay, I would like to invite our respected speaker, Mr. Herman Mingram Yarza, to deliver his keynote speech entitled The Importance of Plant Breeding During Pandemic Times. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fatiha, for the great introduction. So the topic of my talk today will be the role of plant breeding during pandemic times. I'm Herman Mingram. I'm breeding consultant for GWG there in Malaysia. and also an adjunct professor for UNISA. So let's start. So through human history, a considerable number of pandemics have appeared in the world, right? What's a pandemic? A pandemic is an epidemic of an infectious disease that has spread across a large region, for instance, multiple continents or worldwide, affecting a substantial number of people. And whereas an epidemic is just a spread of a disease to a large number of people in a short period of time. So it's passing an epidemic to a higher level of seriousness. Moreover, as we all know, the pandemics have in most of the cases a negative effect in humans' lives, no? And in one of the areas that affect the most is in the food security. So what are the signs that a pandemic is affecting the food security? First, that the industries that rely in exports and imports are struggling. Number two is that the food suppliers are hard to get locally. And economic activities are being disrupted, no? In general, the economic activities. So how to protect the food security, even though this has been blocked or disturbed by certain issues, no? Like the case of the pandemic. So the number one thing is to secure the food availability. So it's important to make a conjunction between the government and the private sector, the companies, in order to provide the people sufficient storage places to store the food, markets, distributing centers to locate the food, as well as the correct support to farmers to produce food and make it available to the people. Number two is to guarantee the food access, and not just for the people that have enough food to acquire it, no, but guarantee the food access to all type of people, to all the sectors, no, especially for the most needed ones, the elderly people, the children, and the people with less resources, no. So it's important, no. One thing is the food availability, but it doesn't guarantee the food access, no. But so it's important to have like a fair channels, fair distributing logistic, so everybody receives a fair access to this food, no. And number three is to educate people about the correct food utilization, no, correct diets, the correct nutrition intake that they need to receive in order to have like the correct nutrition. But not only that, but the correct education in all the things or matters that involve the food production, no. So is the efficient use of the water or the different inputs and resources that help produce food, or even educating about how much food you need, no, not just use big amounts, no, but use wisely and according to the nutritional requirements you need, no. So it's important, this education during the food security pressures, no? So plant breeding could be a good and wise approach to achieve these objectives and maintain the food security despite the different difficulties, no? And maintain the harmony in these three aspects that I just said before. No? Why plant breeding could be a wise strategy? Well, as it is said in plant breeding definition, plant breeding is the art and science of changing certain traits in plants in order to produce others with more desirable characteristics. So it means, for instance, I have, if you see the picture here in the left corner, there are two parents. No, if you cross them, if these two parents are kind of different, theoretically speaking, there are high chances to produce a descendant or a hybrid that is more vigorous than them. No, you can see also the ears that, in comparison to the parentals, the descendants, the hybrids, are more vigorous, no, more productive. Or also, it's very good breeding, plant breeding, because it helps to develop materials, hybrids that are more disease resistant than their parentals, no, their predecessors. No? So, for instance, you have here like materials that have like a high disease susceptibility, but have like interesting other traits, no? So you cross them with other materials that have this resistance, and with the correct and strategic approach, you can obtain both of those things, no? The materials with the desirable characteristics of the first ones, but with addition that they are disease resistant. Also, through plant breeding, you can develop materials that are tolerant to different abiotic stresses, like for low nitrogen places, or places with a lot of heat, with a lot of droughts, or for high altitudes, or for different climates and conditions. And you can also develop crops that have more nutritional content. Moreover, plant breeding has had an interesting and positive impact in the world, no, in humans throughout history, no. First, in farmers and consumers, no, as plant breeding focuses in developing materials, varieties that fit according to their needs, agronomically speaking, and according to their taste and customer needs. No, also is important in terms of agro-related impact. No, it helps to develop materials or varieties in places where before it was thought that nothing could be grown there. No. So, for instance, it helps to develop materials in places with high altitude that before nothing could be grown there. No, so it helps to start producing food in extreme conditions. No, so these people that live there cannot depend only in other regions to sustain themselves. No, so it's very important. So this is kind of attached to the next point, that is food security. It's basic to help countries and nations to be self-sustainable by themselves, not depending on other countries and other regions in other parts to sustain themselves from imports, no? So they can be strong and sustain themselves by producing food by their own. It can help enhance the nutritional content of the crops, no? Being more nutritious, no? It can help augment the genetic diversity of a particular species, no? For instance, you can see here in the photo, there are different colors of maize. So it's not just that you have white maize or just yellow maize, but then you can open the the window of diversity. No, you can have white, yellow, purple, blue, red, and of many different other colors, shapes, sizes, adapted for different conditions, altitudes, weathers, and with other different particular traits, resistances for abiotic or biotic stresses, etc. No, it's good for technology transfer. No, from teacher to student, from teacher to other scientists, from scientists to 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 farmers, etc. No, so it helps to strengthen all this knowledge and to pass it from generation to generation or from sector to sector to have a better understanding and to make the correct actions to strengthen the whole agricultural sector. No. Moreover, it helps also develop the agricultural sector by making these kind of partnerships between the public sector, private sector, and university, and each sector understanding what's the role in the play. No, for instance, the universities understanding that they should focus in educating and training the students, the human capital, so later on they can be the ones that will be developing other varieties or that will be developing other technologies that will facilitate and will improve the agriculture. No, the public sector, the government can be in charge of issuing certain permits, no, seed permits or phytosanitary permits to facilitate the transport or the transport or the delivery of seeds from one part to another, and everything on rule. No, and the private sector, the companies, can mainly focus in massifying whatever was developed to the public. No, and make it and commercializing, no, to the markets, to the final consumers, and make it available for them. No, so making this network, this linkage between them, they can help to develop the agricultural sector. So by understanding all the impact that plant breeding has given to the world, and also by understanding what are the 3 points that need to be maintained in order to keep the food security alive, then plant breeding in a pandemic can strengthen the food security by, number one, by contributing to achieve the food availability. How can they do it? Well, by developing crops with a longer shelf life. So if they focus to develop crops that after being harvested, they can last longer, so then the marketeers, the sellers, or the people that are that sell the produce to the final consumers, they don't have to worry too much that whatever they are offering will be wasted or will expire very soon. No, so because it has like a longer shelf life. No? Also, if they have like a constant communication or have like programs with community farmers in order for them to keep producing food, no, and according to their needs, not to their conditions. So their yields, their productivity keeps going up, growing, or constant without decreasing despite the diseases or different conditions. So that the food availability can be maintained for the people of that community or for the region. Longer shelf life and a good food production from the farmers to the people. Number two, by helping to guarantee the food access. So this is kind of attached to the food availability, but is different. No, it's one thing is that the food is available for all the people, but the other thing is that all people get access to it, no, because sometimes it's kind of corrupted, and only the wealthy people are the ones that have access to this this food, no, that is available. So for this, the plant breeders should work with the community farmers, no, especially with rural farmers, no, go to their places and understand what are their needs, what are their field conditions, what are the diseases that are present in their fields, and also understand what are the traits per crop that they are looking for, so they can work together in order to develop something that could fit to these needs, no, these requirements. This is important because whatever is being produced is also for them, no? Because if we are just talking about food availability, okay, boom, and then we return again to the same problem, no? The wealthy people is the one that will be able to obtain the food, no, that is available. But what about the people without enough resources, no, without too much money? Well, here is another alternative. Go with these people and help them produce more productive crops in their fields, in their conditions, for the specific diseases that they have, in order to keep producing and feeding themselves, no? So with all of this, making food available for the rest of the consumers and also for the rural farmers, you help to develop crops or food for the entire community, and this translates to a self-sustainable community, no, that doesn't have to depend too much in other regions, in other countries, to feed their people, no? Number 3, it helps to augment the crop's nutritional value. And one way to do it is through biofortification. No? Biofortification is a branch of the traditional plant breeding that focuses in adding certain nutrients to the crop. No? So in the field, you do the process to augment the levels of proteins, vitamins, anthocyanins, etc. In the crop, and this alternative is very good, no, and mostly for third world countries or countries with very few resources, no, because just imagine in very few crops, you're putting more nutrients, more elements than before. So instead of using big amounts of crops to obtain the daily requirements, only with few of them, you can have a balanced diet, no? So then that translates that with less money, you can have like a good and healthy diet, no? So it's very good for the poor, and in times where food security is being struggling or being damaged, right? So in consequence, through plants breeding support in food security, farmers, consumers health and diets, food markets and restaurants might have a positive impact, no, and their lives and their level of consumption and acquisition of food might be respected, no, without being negatively damaged, no. So as a conclusion, by understanding the negative effects of pandemics in food security, of the different nations, regions, and small localities, it is necessary to have a good backup plan to maintain the food accessibility, the food availability, and the food education for everybody. Moreover, through plant breeding, these three aspects can be protected as it is a strong approach to develop crops that are more adapted to the existing condition with higher nutritional contents and with longer shelf life, which at the end translates into a closer step to self-sustainability. Thank you very much, and that's all from my part.
Any question from the audience? You can just post your question in the chat box, please. So while waiting for the question from the audience, maybe I can ask one question to Mr. Herman.
Yes, please.
Okay, so despite of all negative impact of COVID-19, it has created awareness of food security for certain countries, especially those who rely on import-export.
Yes.
We also learned that food security or self-sufficient food security is very important during lockdown. Farmers are willing to pay good money for good seeds. However, in Malaysia, almost 90% of our vegetable seeds are imported seeds. In your opinion, how can we reduce the dependency on imported seeds?
Well, I think is first starting with like many, as you well know, many of the crops or the food that Malaysia receives or consumes comes from the outside, right? Mostly vegetables. No? So I would say that first focus in whatever you have and you can produce from yourself, and understanding what are the conditions that you have, no, and having like a good picture, a good understanding to see what varieties, what crop varieties that are outside could fit to Malaysian conditions, no. So then you're not only close to the options or the crop varieties that you have right now in Malaysia, no, but you are open to the world, no, to make those varieties that are outside now like adapted to Malaysian and for the people that are being produced in the country, no, they are not just coming from overseas, totally imported, and then directly to the final consumer, no. You're kind of breaking. First, of course, you need like a learning curve, no, of adapting these crop varieties to the conditions, because at first there's not so much crop diversity for food, no. So start increasing that diversity little by little and see which ones really adapt, and the ones that not, okay, work hardly to develop them for the country, no, and also focus hard in the ones that are already locally for the country, are endemic from Malaysia per region and for the whole country, and start producing them higher, and also first for the country, for the local consumers' needs, but then for exports, no, and not only with a focus or the purpose as before, no, of just industrial crops, but now also with a vision of changing it for crops for feeding, no, for food. So I think this could be like a process of different kind of steps, no, adapting different crops that also could be beneficial for the people's diets. So this cannot be broke and be maintained, So not just receiving crops without any strategy, no. So which ones could also be beneficial for Malaysians people's diet and complement with others for their diets, no? And then later on, perhaps work with the biofortification to approaches to add more nutrients to these crops to make them like more nutritious or etc. No, but I think it's a process of different stages and yeah, a process of adaptability. No.
Okay. Right, Mr. Herman. Actually, Malaysia is blessed with one of the top mega biodiversity country. So I hope all of us can take a challenge from Mr. Herman. We can work together to improve or to ensure our self-sufficient food security. So if don't have any question from the audience, I think we can stop here because time is so jealous with us. So we have to proceed with the next keynote speaker. I would like, on behalf of organizing committee, I would like to thank you again, Mr. Herman. Thank you.
No, thank you, Dr. Fatia.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, gracias. Terima kasih banyak.
Okay, terima kasih. Now, I would like to thank all the audience, all the participants for joining us. I hope you enjoy the conference, and I would like to pass this session to Dr. Asmat for the next session. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. See you.
And a very good morning. Thank you, Dr. Fatiha. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Asmat Kari from Faculty of Bioresources and Food Industry, UNIZA. I'm so excited to be here today and to have the opportunity to introduce our second keynote speaker for today's event, Dr. Ir Enike Dwi Kusumawati. Dr. Enike is a Dean of Faculty of Animal Husbandry, Universitas Kanjuruhan Malang, Indonesia. She is also a Secretary of the Indonesian Forum for Science and Technology for Community Services, a member of Advisor Committee for Association of Indonesian Animal Husbandry, a National Reviewer for Competitive Research Grant from Ministry of Research and Technology and Higher Education Indonesia, Editor-in-Chief of Journal Science Penternakan. She has worked in the fields of animal reproduction and animal breeding, focusing on semen cryopreservation and also sperm sexing. Currently, she has involved with 3 different patent projects regarding to the field, her field of expertise, which are composition of chicken feed containing herbal-based antibiotics, Percol density gradient centrifugation method for sperm sexing, sperm sex using sedimentation method with egg white. On a final note, she is also a fascinating individual, and we are grateful for her presence among us today. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Ir Enike Dwi Kusumawati to deliver her speech on effectiveness of sperm separation technology using local material base in supporting food security.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greeting healthy and prosperous to all of us. Honorable Rector and Committee of the International Conference on Agriculture, Animal Science and Food Technology, University Sultan Zainal Abidin Unisa, Terengganu, Malaysia, keynote speaker and all participants. Thank you for the trust given by leadership of the University Sultan Zainal Abidin Unisa, Terengganu, Malaysia to me to become one of the keynote speaker at the ICAFT 2021 International Seminar. Cell insemination has important role in increasing the livestock population. Population increase will be more effective if livestock are produced according to the expected sex. One of the steps to make this happen is sperm separation technology. The accuracy of the sex of the livestock to be produced in accordance with the expectation will certainly greatly assist in realizing food security. Sperm separation technology has been widely used to obtain the sex of livestock, which is expected to support food security. The development of biotechnology in the field of livestock reproduction has now experienced various improvement, including the technology of separating spermatozoa carrying X and Y chromosome. This technology aims to estimate the sex of the calf so that it can be adjusted to market demand. For example, a dairy farm would want to produce female offspring, meanwhile beef cattle farm want to produce male offspring, and all breeders have decided that the cow they raise can give birth to calf of the sex they want. Dairy cattle farmers certainly prefer to have female calf compared to male calf. On the other hand, beef cattle breeder will choose male calf over female calf. Of course, this was impossible a few decades ago, but with the rapid development of science and technology, nothing is impossible anymore. Farmers can now determine the sex of calf before they are born using artificial insemination technology with sexing sperm. Artificial insemination with sexing sperm is the application of artificial insemination using sperm that have separated chromosome, X chromosome and Y chromosome, so that the sex of the animal to be born can be determined from the start. As we all know that only male livestock produce X chromosome and Y chromosome, each of which carries the DNA structure and information in different things, male and female sex. Spermatozoa chromosome X will produce female embryo, while spermatozoa Y chromosome will produce male embryo. This is because the Y sperm chromosome contains the sex-determining region I, or SRI, which is the gene that determines the formation of testicle in male cattle litter. Sex-determining region I, or SRI, is not owned by sperm X chromosome. Separation of X and Y spermatozoa is possible because X and Y chromosome have different in the size and shape of spermatozoa, weight, density, charge motility, and biochemical content on their surface. Separation effort was carried out based on chromosome different in male semen, namely X and Y, which can determine the sex of the calf. The difference between the two sperm in weight, movement, biochemical content, surface charge, and size of sperm. Parameter different evolution of sperm I, DNA, is less measurable and accepted. X sperm size is large. Identification sperm contain inflorescence species specific. Sperm I motility is faster. Accurate identification when sperm are stained on the F-body. X sperm surface charge equate to the cathode. There is no difference in charge between X and Y sperm. Method of separating spermatozoa that can be done includes sedimentation, immunology, electrophoresis, and filtration methods. There are several methods of sperm sexing, and important amongst them are research, identification of HI antigen, albumin gradient, free flow electrophoresis, detection of sex-specific protein, centrifugal current distribution, volumetric difference, percoil density gradient, and flow cytometry. Method of separation of sperm X and I. The most commonly used is separation based on different intensity of motility. The current separation of X and I sperm, which reduce the large population of sperm X and I, is by flow cytometry. But the tools used are expensive. Separation of sperm by flow cytometry can separate spermatozoa X and I compared to other separation methods. But the tools used are expensive, making it difficult to apply. Another method that can also be done is the albumin column. This material replacement can be more economical when compared to other separation methods. This method is cheaper, valid, easier, and to produce and apply. This method is easy to implement, easy to obtain, and affordable. Separation of sperm by egg-white sedimentation method is based on different in motility spermatozoa X and I. This method is based on different in sperm motility X and I as an implication of the different in mass and size. The mass and size of the the mass of size of the I sperm, which is smaller than X sperm, cause the sperm to be able to move faster or have a higher penetration power to enter solution, the layer on the albumin column, the I spermatozoa will move down and the X spermatozoa will remain in the upper layer. Selection with spermatozoa with albumin column has been successfully frozen and can be done commercially. Separation using egg-white concentration instead between 10% in the upper layer and 30% and 50% in the lower layer. Egg-white, often called albumin, is part of the egg that function as an antigen bacterial and buffer to maintain the physical or chemical properties of eggs. Egg-white contain antibacterial substance so that the result of separation using egg-white sedimentation is able to maintain spermatozoa motility and viability in addition to preventing a decrease in the motility of the resulting spermatozoa, namely by lipid peroxidation in the spermatozoa membrane. The main component contained in the egg white are protein, glucose, fat, salt, and water. Egg white consists of various protein, enzyme inhibitor, antibacterial agent, bone vitamin, and bone mineral. Protein is the most part of the organic material that make up the egg white. Consists of albumin, ovotransferrin, ovomucin, lysozyme, avidin, globulin as the main component. The diluent used during separation also affect the quality of the separation. Many diluent also develop local resources, one of which is the sporting technology for separating spermatozoa X and I. Percentage of motility spermatozoa or sexing the egg white sedimentation of the upper layer was higher than the lower layer. In the upper layer are spermatozoa X and on the lower layer are I spermatozoa. This result is due to the spermatozoa in the lower layer, 3 of the egg white albumin sedimentation with 3 concentration of 10%, 30%, and 50 egg white albumin. The higher the egg white albumin cause the viscosity of the solution to increase, so that the motion of the spermatozoa is inhibited and requires more energy to penetrate the gradient containing the acquired concentration albumin. The percentage of I spermatozoa in the upper layer is lower than the proportion of I spermatozoa in the lower layer. This is due to the smaller difference in mass and size of I spermatozoa compared to X spermatozoa, so that the movement of I spermatozoa is faster and has a higher penetration power to enter a solution. The mean motility of the resulting spermatozoa has decreased compared to the motility of the spermatozoa before or fresh semen. This decrease in the proportion of the motility is very normal because spermatozoa have undergone treatment starting from the spiration process to the washing process, which require a lot of energy to maintain physiological condition. The motility of the lower layer of spermatozoa is lower than that of the upper layer of spermatozoa. This is because the lower layer of spermatozoa has space throughout to layer, so that more energy is used and consequently will decrease motility or even not move at all. The bottom layer contains 30 white and will increase the viscosity of the diluent. The increase in viscosity in the diluent tend to decrease the motility and viability of spermatozoa. Centrifugation can result in damage to the spermatozoa cell membrane. The function of the membrane itself is to protect cells, so that if the membrane is damaged, it can cause damage to organelle in cell, such as mitochondria and lysosome. Mitochondria is the place where cellular respiration takes place, which can reduce energy. So if there is damage, it can disrupt the metabolic process, which later affect the movement of spermatozoa. The percentage of viability of spermatozoa after sexing with the top layer acquired sedimentation method was higher than the bottom layer. This is due to the sexing of the acquired sedimentation. The upper layer content of X sperm, while the lower layer content of I sperm. Increased abnormality occurred due to various kinds of treatment ranging from separation, washing, cooling, and freezing process, which cause spermatozoa to require a lot of energy to maintain their physiological condition. In addition, it is also caused by the circular motion that occurred in the spermatozoa due to centrifugal force, so that the spermatozoa are damaged. The centrifugal force generated by centrifugation causes a decrease in the resistance rate and the proper condition. Centrifugation can result in damage to the spermatozoa cell membrane. The function of the membrane itself is to protect cells, so that if the membrane is damaged, it can cause damage to organelles in cells such as mitochondria and lysosome. To concentration, the concentration of the sex spermatozoa saw decrease. The decrease in the sperm concentration was caused by addition of diluent, which aim to maintain the quality of spermatozoa, so that it can provide high fertility. The lower concentration of sex spermatozoa is due to the presence of spermatozoa, which are not entirely in the upper and lower layer, but also in the middle layer. Another factor that causes the spermatozoa concentration in the lower layer to be higher than that of the upper layer is the centrifugal force that occurs during centrifugation, causing the spermatozoa to be pulled down. so that the lower layer has more deposit than the upper layer. The speed in the centrifugation plays an important role. The higher the speed, the greater the centrifugal force that will be generated, resulting in the decrease in the number of spermatozoa. The appropriate speed and duration of centrifugation have a good ability to spread spermatozoa based on their size. That is, the small spermatozoa will go up while the large one will go down. Like this in the upward sedimentation, the lower layer has a higher concentration spermatozoa with high motility that can only penetrate the upward albumin gradient. In the upward sediment section method, the highest percentage was in the lower layer, while X spermatozoa was the highest in the upper layer. The head size of X spermatozoa is larger than that of I spermatozoa, which allow the I spermatozoa to penetrate downward with its movement. I spermatozoa usually have a small head size, lighter and shorter than X spermatozoa, causing I spermatozoa to be faster and more mobile and have a high penetration power to enter the solution. The highest concentration is in the lower layer. This is due to the spermatozoa being incubated for 20 minutes during spiration. Spermatozoa will try to penetrate the spiration medium. I spermatozoa, which have a smaller head size, will be able to penetrate up to 30 solution of egg white. X spermatozoa, which has a larger head size, try to penetrate the 30% solution of egg white, but is unable and end up in the middle layer, so that the top layer is low in concentration. The result of the measurement of the head size of the spermatozoa are used as the basis of the determining spermatozoa of X and I. Spermatozoa that have a size smaller than average head size are I spermatozoa, and spermatozoa that have the same size or large than on average are X spermatozoa. Artificial insemination using artificial insemination using sexing semen, using upward sedimentation on the top layer, which has a large population of X spermatozoa, success in giving gestation as much as 80%. Similarly, the I spermatozoa. Success of artificial insemination by sexing semen shows that encouraging the result that the sex of the livestock produced is in line with expectation. So it can be concluded that the expression of X and I spermatozoa using local resource can be effective in supporting food security. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Edika, for a very interesting and informative presentation. So now I would like to open the floor for Q&A session. Are there any questions from the audience?
Okay, yes, I'm ready.
Okay, I have one question here for you, Dr. Enike. Based on the results presented, the accuracy of sperm separation or sperm sexing between X and Y by using egg white albumin separation method is around 77%. Does this percentage applicable or enough to be used for AI program, especially in dairy production? And if we use a commercial sperm separation method such as flow cytometry, what are the accuracy percentage of the sperm separation?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Asmat. Okay, I will be answer the question. In our research, the result of measurement of head size of the sperm are used as basis of determining of X and I sperm. The sperm have a size smaller than average head size of I sperm, and sperm that have the same size of large on average as X sperm. And we also have to do use the sexing sperm, and I using sexing sperm with egg white on the top layer, which has a large population of egg sperm and success in giving gestation as much until 80% and similarly also in I sperm in greater than 75%. And also the highest concentration is in the lower layer, is due to the sperm being incubated 20 minutes during inspiration, and with the success of artificial insemination by sexing semen, so that encourage result that the sex of livestock produce is in line with expectation. So it can be the separation of X and I sperm using local resource can be effective in supporting food security. And also like this in acquired sedimentation, while the X was the highest in the upper layer, the head size of the X sperm is larger than I sperm, which allow of a sperm to penetrate downward with the movement, and a lot of X in bottom layer and a lot of I upper layer. Okay, thank you, Dr. Asmat.
Due to limitation of the time that we have, I have to stop our Q&A session with Dr. Enike. But I would like to say thank you to everyone who has joined the session today. And I would like to thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Enike, for being able to be with us today. And I hope the presentation has been interesting and informative. And thank you again for joining us. So I'll pass this to Dr. Zaizuliana, our moderator for the next session.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Asmat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone and welcome to the third keynote session for our International Conference on Agriculture, Animal Sciences and Food Technology, ICAFT 2021. I am Dr. Nuruza Juliana, the moderator for this session. Thank you all for attending this session. Before we get started, let me briefly introduce our third keynote speaker for today, Associate Professor Dr. Niramon Utamaang from Chiang Mai University, Thailand. Dr. Niramon is the head of School of Agroindustry, Faculty of Agroindustry, Chiang Mai University, Thailand. She received her bachelor degree in food science and technology from Chiang Mai University and taken her master degree in agro-industrial product development at Kasetsart University, Bangkok. Then she attained her PhD in agro-industrial product development also from Kasetsart University in 2006. Dr. Niramon is expert in product development of herbal teas and rice products, nutraceutical and functional food, and also sensory studies. Without further ado, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Niramon Utamaang to deliver her presentation entitled Innovative Products from Thai Rice.
Good morning, all participants. My name is Associate Professor Nilamon Uttamaan. I'm a head of School of Agro Industry, Chiang Mai University, Thailand. First of all, I would like to thank you very much to UNISA for inviting me to join the International Conference on Agriculture, Animal Science and Food Technology, or ICAFT 2021. So today I will present my research in the topic of innovative products from Thai rice. Okay, we'll start with my outline. First is principle of rice processing, and the second is development of instant rice, and the third is the development of noodle product from rice, and fourth is development of meat products from rice. The fifth is development of snack from color rice, and the sixth is development of beverage from rice. I will show my research case study in the development of functional writings and then conclusion. Yes, let's let's start with the first part about the principle of rice processing. Normally, rice is the main productivity of Thailand. Thai people eat rice every day, so this is the way of Thai people. Yeah. Start with the paddy. The paddy from the rice field go to the milling process. We remove the husk and then we get the brown rice. Brown rice is full of nutrition value. If we milling or punishing into the white rice, the byproduct is rice bran going into the animal feed industry. And the white rice will move to the consumer, Thai consumer, like a main dish or fermented product we call kama or fermented rice and the alcoholic rice drink and many products to the snack and sweet product because Thai people like sweet product. The white rice and the broken rice maybe go to the milling process into rice flours. And the rice flour is the main ingredient of the noodle. Yeah, because Thai people like to eat noodle. And some is going to the snack industry, and the interesting marketing is the food supplement, like is the base of food supplement. Yes, you can see there are many rice products, but we can find the way to develop the rice product into many innovative products. Yeah. Okay, my research is start with study the effect of cooking method on quality of rice. I research in more than 10 rice varieties. For the sample, this is jasmine rice. This experiment, I vary the rice to water ratio, including 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 1.2, 1 to 1, 1 to 2.5 with water, and then cooking using electric rice cooker. So I can get the cooked rice, and the analysis in the physical property such as color, texture, and SEM. And I focus on sensory quality. And this is the result. I found that if the water was increased, the hardness of the light you decrease, so it gets a softer. And this is the SEM of the light particle. Yeah. And this is a sensory acceptance. I found that if the water, the light to the water ratio is 1 to 2 and 1 to 2.5, get the highest score of overall liking, but not significant difference. So maybe the other quality of light is okay. Okay, with this experiment, I study on the sensory quality using sensory descriptive analysis, training the panelists to develop the terminology of the cooked lights and focus on texture and aroma and flavor, and develop the light lexicon, such as the starchy aroma, hardness, fibrousness, starchy flavor, and aftertaste. So I use the reference sample. And this is the result of sensory acceptance of Thai consumer for the 10 light variety. The results show that the highest score of overall liking is jasmine light. Yes. But it's not significant different from Cam Doi Skate light. Cam Doi Skate light is the black sticky light from Chiang Mai. But it's full of nutrients. Yes. So I can focus on the back sticky lights. It's very interesting. Okay, the next product is the instant mixing lights products for the elderly. I mix the black lights and jasmine light and sticky lights together and cook in the electric rice cook and packing in the retort pouch, and then vacuum packing and sterilization with the retort. So I can get the cook mix rice for the elderly because the texture is very soft, it's suitable for the elderly. Okay, the next is about the germinated bowl rice products. It start with the paddy rice, peeling into bowl rice, and then soaking it in the water, and then storing at the incubator at 25 degrees Celsius for 24 hours, let it germinating. After that, I dyeing the germinated rice. So this is a germinated rice which analyze about the GABA, phenolic compound and protein content. Yes. And this result show the effect of soaking temperature and time, which affect to GABA content and phenolic content. Okay, let's go to the second part about the development of instant rice. Yes, the instant rice coated with spirulina just mean like cooking and drying is the instant rice from the spirulina. Spirulina get from the spirulina farm in Chiang Mai. In Chiang Mai, we have a biggest spirulina farm in the Southeast Asia area. I dyeing by microwave vacuum, and milling to the powder and coating to the instant rice. So this is a rice coated with spirulina with a green color. So the color is green of spirulina. Yes, it's very interesting rice. The next product is breakfast cereal with green tea flavor. And my formula including rice flour, rice bran, and green tea powder. All the ingredient you mix and feeding into the single screw extruder, and we can get the breakfast cereal like this, eating with milk. This product is for children. Okay, the third part is development of noodle products. So, because I like noodle very much, so I interested in noodle product. This noodle, I study about the Thai herbal, such as sweet basil, lemongrass, and turmeric. The herbals will be dyed and milling to the powder and mixed with the rice flour, and then steaming and pour to the plate like a light plate, light press, dyeing and get into the forming of rice of noodle, and then dyeing with hot air dyeing. So I got a noodle with colorful noodle, such as green noodle from sweet basil, brown noodle from lemongrass, and yellow noodle from turmeric. Yes. So we can develop the many innovative noodle. The next product is the fermented noodles from riceberry. I use the riceberry rice because it's famous in Thailand now. The riceberry is in the purple rice, full of anthocyanin and antioxidant. We am milling into the raspberry flours and then mix with water and fermented. Let it fermented overnight. And the next day, we put into the forming of dry rice into the hot water, and we can get the fermented noodles like this and dyeing into the instant rice. So the color is in the purple. And when we cook or bunch, this noodle is different from the plain noodle. Yeah. Okay, going into fourth part about the development of meat products from rice. Start with the Thai rice sauces. I get the turmeric powder mixed with rice and then cooking in the electric cooker. After cooking, I mix with the pork and sugar, some ingredient, and mix by hand. Yeah. And get a form like a ball. It's like a meatball. This is live ball, and then tossing like this, and the color is good to like a yellow sausage, and the flavor is with turmeric. So this is good flavor. And the next is the emulsion sausage from riceberry. I get the riceberry mixed with the ingredient of Vienna sausage and then mix with the fat, pork, and ice to make an emulsion. So we cook in the hot water, and this is the emulsion sausage from riceberry. You can see riceberry lies in the sausage. So this is a new product. Okay, let's go to the fifth part, development of snack from color rice. The next product is crispy rice from baked rice. This is a baked rice mixed with watermelon juice and then forming to a circle and dyeing with sun dye. And we can get the rice cake like this. Normally, Thai people frying the rice cake to the crispy rice, so it's full of fat, of oil. But I change the process in this step to the microwave. The microwave will heat the rice cake to puff. The texture of rice is puffing. So the important factor is about moisture content on rice cake. I found the optimum moisture content is suitable for puffing. And this is a crispy rice. And then I can coat it with chocolate or many things you can develop from this product. The next product is rice jelly. This rice jelly is from Color Light. I use the raspberry flour and gum lươn thua flour. Gum lươn thua is the purple rice and mixed with paraginan and konjac flour and water. So I'm mixing and heating to the 90 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes and then add the sugar and citric acid to make a seasoning and tasting, and then pouring in the cup to form a jelly like this. So I found the optimum formula for jelly rice for the elderly. The older people like this jelly very much because it's easy to swallowing for the elderly. Okay, going to the last part. This is a case of my research. Is the development of functional rice beans This research is from my PhD student named Tipilat Pasakawi. The purpose of this research were to screen the selected Thai herb. Second was to identify the bioactive compound of Lagerstemania, Spexoca L herb, and I will call this LSP. And the third objective was to screen the selected Thai lice. And the fourth is to develop the functional lice zinc fortified with LSP extract. And the last one is to study the hypoglycemic effect of the functional lice zinc in animal models. So our research divided to 5 experiments. The first experiment is screening selected Thai herb by antioxidant activity and start digesting enzyme inhibition. The results show that the cinnamon is best, but not significant with the Lacostemma spexosioca LSP leaf. So I choose LSP leaf to study. The second part is identify the bioactive compound from LSP leaf. The leaf is harvested from 3 parts of Thailand. And I analyzed by HPLC to get the active compound. The 6 active compounds in LSP leaf is this, and I found the new compound of LSP leaf. And the third part is screening selected Thai lice by start digestibility antioxidant. And the 7 variety Thai rice, including jasmine rice, white rice, brown rice, red rice, black rice, and glutinous or sticky rice, and black sticky rice. And I can get many results. This is the result from principal component analysis. Is related to the chemistry and the rice variety. And the fourth part is the development of functional rice zinc. Yes. We use bound jasmine rice and black rice together and hydrolyze with thermamine enzymes. And then fortification with LSP extract and xanthan and whole milk. So we get the optimum formula with the rice zinc and then analyze the chemical and sensory. And this is the data. We get the resistant starch and sugar. And then this one, the result found that the optimum was about 0.3% of LSP extract is the best. So the last experiment is the hypoglycemic effect of finished product in the in vivo study, which is study in rat model. The last feed were fed with the high-fat diet, and then feed it with our rice drink for 1 month. And the results show that the rat have a hyperinsulinemia effect. because the glucose in rat blood is was reduced. Yes, so very good. So we can conclude in the all research that the LSP leaf used as a start digesting enzyme inhibitor and the lice will modification by thermomule hydrolysis and lithogradation and fortification with LSP extract. And the developed lice drink product is very potential of high glycemic effect in rat model. So this is my reference. I have many publication in many journals. You can search for the detail of my research from this reference. So in conclusion, I would like to conclude that the innovative rice product need more research and development to functional food to the medical food. So it will make a value added rice product. Yes. Thank you very much for your attention. So, bye bye.
Is to see how the Thai rice has been shifted from the concept of rice as a commodity product to rice as an innovative product. And the development of rice into diverse products would enable the Thai rice industry to continue to grow on a sustainable basis. Okay, actually, we have one question here from the participants. In your presentation, you explained about the development of the herbal noodle from sweet basil, lemongrass, and turmeric. Okay, I'm wondering, how does it taste? Is there any aftertaste of the product?
Okay. Okay, thank you for the question. The herbal noodle is I got the sweet basil, lemongrass, and turmeric. The basil, the herbal dye by the hot air oven to remove the moisture, and then I milling into the powder. Yes. Or herbal is dye in powder, and then it can mix with the rice flour easily, and then add the water for mixing. Yes, you can mix and get into the noodle. This research have had tied to the noodle industry already. It easy for the line of noodle industry, especially turmeric noodle is good. This is okay. Yeah.
Due to the limitation of time, we only managed to take one question from the participants. I apologize for that. Once again, thank you, Dr. Niramon, for the informative presentation. Kap Kongka. And to all participants, thank you for joining us. Now, I pass the session to the next moderator, Dr. Muhammad Munir Zaman.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah wabarakatuh, and very good morning. Okay, so I like to thanks Dr. Jai for giving the floor. So ladies and gentlemen, actually I am Jaman from FBIM Tunisia. So actually I am so excited to be here today and to have the opportunity to introduce our last keynote speaker, actually Prof. Dr. Jahid Iqbal. Actually Prof. Dr. Jahid Iqbal, um, he obtained his MPhil and also PhD in pharmacology from University of Agriculture in 2003 and 2008 respectively. And then he started his academic career in the Department of Pharmacology at Islamic International Medical College, Islamabad. Now he is working as a professor of pharmacology at Swat Medical College, Said Sharif, Yazdan. Okay, so he has worked in the field of medical science and drug residue, herbal drug screening, and also natural product research. He was awarded with RPA award and also so many award in his junior years as a researcher. He was selected as a associate young scientist by Pakistan, and also he is associate fellow of Academy of Science. Being ranked third amongst all health scientists, he has received so many research grants and also own so many travel grants to attend international conference. Over the years, Prof. Jahid Iqbal, he also serving as a editorial board of so many journal, and now he act as a chief editor of AJAB, Asian Journal of Agriculture and Biology. He has more than 30 publication, is highly indexed index journal. Okay, so without any delay, I'd like to welcome Prof. Jahid to present his speech on alternative medicine as South Asian perspective.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, Prof.
And very good morning. I hope you people can hear me. Well, my today's discussion is about alternative medicine, a South Asian perspective. I'm Professor Dr. Zahid Iqbal, Professor and Head of Department of Pharmacology at Swat Medical College, Pakistan, and I'm Director Research there also. So, first of all, I thank the conference organizers, especially Dr. Muniruzman Khankar, for inviting me as a keynote speaker in the conference, and for successful opening of this conference. I congratulate the all organizers. Well, coming to our topic, the alternative medicine, as described by WHO traditional medicine strategy, alternative medicine is diverse health practices, approaches, knowledge and beliefs incorporating plant, animal, and mineral-based medicine, spiritual therapies, manual techniques, exercises applied singularly or in combination to maintain well-being as well as to treat diagnose or prevent illnesses. So this all make up alternative medicine, complementary and alternative medicine. You can say it traditional medicine as well. So complementary and alternative medicine includes acupuncture, it includes Ayurveda, chiropractors, there could be functional food, we can call it herbal medicine, there could be massage therapy, diet therapy, physiotherapy, and spirituality, meditation, lifestyle modifications, fasting, aromatherapy, all these come under complementary and alternative medicine. Well, we see two extreme lifestyles. In the past, the human beings had to gather and to hunt for their livelihood, and there were no pollutants or pesticides. The food was pure and natural, and the food was monotonous, and sometimes it was deficient in nutritious substances, and they depended on mainly on natural resources. But in 20th century and later, here we face another extreme of the lifestyle. That is the modern method of preservation of food and storage. And we lead a highly stressful life, and we are going through a sedentary lifestyle. We sit in the chairs and work for whole the day, and we are dependent on high fat food, high caloric food, and usually some of us, they do smoke tobacco also. So these are two extreme lifestyles of the past and of the today's day. So the challenges of modern life are that we eat plenty of food that is high in calories. I mean caloric rich diet, and our lifestyle is luxurious and sedentary. We sit in the chairs, in the table, in the couches, and we do a lot of work on the internet and the computer, on our laptops, and then the life is full of stress because it is a competitive life, and we get less time for relaxation and physical activity. So all these things, they make up, and they challenge us, our health through obesity, and obesity is linked to the metabolic syndrome. So the disease pattern in olden days was that there were more infectious diseases basically, and non-communicable diseases were less in number and on. So infectious diseases were the challenge in the past, but in today's world, in these days, in current years, the diseases of modern lifestyle are more morbid than the mortality. So obesity and its comorbid diseases like hyperinsulinemia, I mean diabetes, there could be coronary artery disease, there could be dyslipidemia, stroke, there could be hypertension. All these obesity and comorbidities, these are the diseases and challenges of the modern lifestyle. And very important, this metabolic syndrome is mother of all diseases, metabolic diseases. And in South Asia, the incidence is very high, because South Asian countries, they contribute to highest proportion of cardiovascular disease burden compared with any other region globally. So we South Asian countries are at higher risk of cardiovascular diseases as compared to other regions of the world. So there is increased risk among South Asians even if they migrate to other countries, because we have genetic predisposition, we have familial predisposition, and we get more risk even if we migrate to other countries, and even if we change our lifestyle. So we are prone to more risk, we South Asians. And the major contributing factor is habit of overeating, and this overeating is taken as slow poison, and this slow poison leads to obesity, and this obesity is the root cause of other diseases, multiple diseases. And due to its global prevalence of obesity, the term is coined as globesity. So as told by Paracelsus, all the substances are poisonous, and there is none which is not poisonous. The right dose differentiates a poison and a remedy. So we must consider our food as a functional food. We must take into account our diet, what we are taking, when we are taking all these things. So this is the Garas comparison. This picture was taken by Calvin Carter, and this won the Pulitzer Prize. And this was taken during the 1994 Sudan famine. and you can see two extreme lifestyles and two extremes of the food abundance. And you know, on the one side there is starvation, and on the other side there's abundance of caloric rich diet and there's obesity. So these are the two extremes we are facing in this current world even. So the question arises, why to shift to complementary and alternative medicine? The reason being, there's several specific reasons for massive comeback to nature in the West are dissatisfaction with the modern medicine. And one of the reasons of dissatisfaction is expensive modern medicine. And there is no complete cure for chronic disorders like diabetes, hypertension, ischemic heart disease, dyslipidemias. There is no complete cure in the modern medicine. So people are turning towards complementary and alternative medicine. And there is greater recognition worldwide for alternative medicine because the evidence is growing every day. And another is that people believe that natural remedies are safer. This is one of the major causes people are turning towards alternative and traditional medicine, because they see, they think, they believe that the natural remedies are safer than the modern remedies. So the example is presented by the literature. Aspirin, you all people know, this is a painkiller, and aspirin, it reduces pain, but this is one of the factors it induces gastric ulcers. And aspirin is basically taken from willow bark. Willow is a plant, and if you take willow bark as natural remedy, it decreases pain, but it does not cause ulcer. Another remedy for pain is ginger, and ginger reduces pain and it decreases ulcer also. So you can see, in comparison with aspirin and ginger and willow bark, that natural remedies are a bit safer than modern remedies. So botanical and dietary supplementation include, you know, garlic. It is very well known. Garlic is very well known, and you know, onion and garlic, they are very useful and reported in the literature for cure of cardiovascular diseases. Ginkgo, it is reported for old age dementia, treatment as old age dementia. Ginseng is adaptogenic, and St. John's wort, it is you know, very much highly appreciated in Western world, in Europe especially, for decreasing depression. Similarly, turmeric, it highly reported and it is well known for wound healing. Ginger for stomach disorders, and isabgol husk is for constipation, diarrhea, and amoebic dysentery. All these are the natural remedies, and these are botanical, and you know, all these are alternative medicine. As described by WHO Global Atlas for traditional and complementary and alternative medicine, 3/4 of the world population relies on alternative medicine practices for its healthcare. 3/4 out of 4/4, 3/4 they rely on traditional medicine as compared to modern medicine. And the major reason is modern medicine is expensive and traditional medicine is less expensive, and the people believe, and this is proven, as proven by the literature, that traditional medicine or the alternative medicine is safer as compared to modern medicine. And again, in the world, there is increasing funding significantly, especially in the USA, which is leading the research. And funding is increasing for complementary or alternative medicine projects and research in USA every year. And there is increasing global trend towards complementary and alternative medicine, because in medical schools in Germany, UK, USA, Canada, the complementary and alternative medicine has been made an essential component of the medical curriculum. And they have started separate degrees on complementary and alternative medicine, herbal, traditional medicine. And in USA, there is a large center built with the name complementary and alternative medicine in the National Institute of Health with huge funding. And they are trying to attract collaboration from all over the world. In Germany, 70% modern physicians here use botanicals. And St. John's wort, as we discussed earlier, this is more frequently used in modern medicine like fluoxetine in moderate depression. So people are turning towards complementary and alternative medical practices as compared to the modern medicine. And the reason is increasing use and there's high belief that these medicines are safer and they're good for health. And some high impact factor journals, they are from alternative medicine, traditional medicine, like phytotherapy research journal of ethnopharmacology, evidence-based complementary alternative medicine. These are the high impact factor journals reported. They are reporting good traditional medicine articles in them, and they have attained high impact factor in the JCRs. And again, world believes that prevention is better than cure. We also believe that prevention is better than cure. So people are turning towards alternative medicine. And the natural health is best maintained by lifestyle changes, like you do exercise, you do mental relaxation, nutritional measures, and dietary habits. You change your dietary habits because you know what to eat, when and how to eat. And there should be you must adopt functional food. Medicinal value of your food. So all these things, they are maintained. If you maintain them, your natural health is maintained, like lifestyle change, nutritional measures, and dietary habits, and functional foods. And if you talk of the first factor, lifestyle changes, you go to exercise. So physical exercise is just like burning calories, extra calories. Abdominal exercise, especially central obesity, which is mother of all metabolic syndrome and all other related diseases, like diabetes and other related diseases. And mental exercises, from them you learn how to relax mentally. And these exercises, they bring good change into your body and natural health. So meditation, you cannot deny meditation. It helps to relax, good for heart. It ensures peaceful sleep. This also includes in the alternative medicine. And you cannot deny healing power of the faith. Healing power of faith, among different communities. This is well known and reported. So you cannot deny it even. And health outcome is based on your dietary habits. This is very important. Your health outcome is based on your dietary habit. You must know what you are eating, how much you are eating, when you should eat, and you should know how you eat, and you should be knowing about your body, about your individual suitability. What is suitable to your body, what is not suitable to your body, and you must differentiate between healthy food and rich food. Rich food means calorie rich food, high in calories, high in nutritional value. You must differentiate between healthy food and rich food. And very important advice given to the whole of the world is by the our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this hadith of the Prophet is narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari. And we can say, stop eating before stomach is full. Stop eating before stomach is full, as narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The children of Adam fill no vessel worse than their stomach. Sufficient for them is a few morsels to keep his back straight. If he must eat more, then 1/3 should be for his food, other third for drink, and 1/3 left for the air." So, in conclusion, we can conclude from this hadith. We can conclude from this very very good advice from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that stop eating before your stomach is full, and this is key to health. Stop eating before your stomach is full is key to health. And we Muslims know that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to have intermittent fasting. Yesterday was Monday, and he used to have fasting on every Monday. And it is also reported in ahadith that he used to have fasting on Thursday even. So intermittent fasting is basically restricting to your calories. Your calorie intake is restricted, and now it is reported in the literature that intermittent fasting prolongs your life. A fasting of almost 16 hours, once or twice in a week, it prolongs your life. This is reported in the highly reputed journals, and it protects your memory. And the research was done in USA on rats. And one of my teachers, he told me that his teacher and his colleagues, they told, you Muslims, you observe fasting and you got good memory and your life is prolonged. So this is reported by the literature, intermittent fasting. the advice by Prophet ﷺ is stop eating before your stomach is full, and his actions told us that intermittent fasting prolongs life and it protects memory. This is now reported by the literature. And we should learn from the animals even. This picture depicts that they eat only when they are hungry. This is beautiful depiction. Learn from the animals. They only eat when they are hungry. If they are full at stomach, they do not eat. So we must follow the advice from the animals. We take advice from the animals. We should take learning from the animals even, that we should only eat when we are hungry and our stomach is empty, and we should stop eating before our stomach is full. So this is key to the health even. So as stated and narrated by Hippocrates, the primary law of healing is let thy food be thy medicine. Let thy food be thy medicine. Your food should be your medicine, and the food can be medicine and it can be poison even. So it is poison when you overeat, and it is your medicine. It becomes functional food when you eat only for need, when you eat with leaving your stomachs a bit empty, you full 1/3 of the stomach. So it becomes your medicine. It is key to health, but it may become poison if you overeat. So as stated by Hippocrates, this is the primary law of healing. And in conclusion, we can say complementary and alternative medicine is more suitable for health problems, chronic health problems. For diabetes, still there is no cure. For cancers, still there is no cure. For other metabolic syndromes, still there is no cure in the modern medicine. But traditional and complementary medicine, they tackle these conditions, these modern conditions, metabolic syndrome type conditions, more efficiently and in a better way than the modern medicine. And safety and quality assurance is a key, and if these practices are taken into account, if we practice the safety and quality and the complementary and traditional medicine, it will ensure trust of the patients and the physicians of the orthodox medicine as well. And this time is not too far when there will be no alternative medicine, because there will be only one medicine, because the concept has changed. And they say that one planet, one health. Now the word is turned towards one planet, one health, and in one health program they combine all these things. They have holistic approach, and when there is one health, you need one medicine, and one medicine again is holistic approach, including all the modern medicine, the traditional medicine, the Ayurveda, the healing power of faith, this meditation, the physical activity. All these things, they will come under one medicine, and there will be no alternative medicine, no modern medicine, only one medicine, because there would be one health. So with this, I thank you, and the session is open for questions. Thank you.
I'd like to give thanks to Dr. Jahid for a very interesting and informative speech. Okay, so now I'd like to open the floor for Q&A session. Are there any question from the audience? Okay, so are there any question from the audience, please?
Yes, there was one question,
Okay,
and that was, can you increase your laptop volume?
I'd like to ask one very simple question. So actually, I want to know how the stress nowadays, so many stress every day from morning to night. So I want to know how the stress affect us. It means how the stress affect to human body.
This is reported in the modern literature that stress is, basically it results in, production of stress hormone cortisol, and cortisol is taken as death hormone. So basically, when you are under stress, your hormonal balance is changed. Hormonal profile is changed, and it adversely affects your mental health. And your mental health is basically your nervous system it is, especially the autonomic nervous system and the central nervous system, they control your body movements, your functions, and all the things. So when your hormonal profile is changed under stress, when stress hormones are released, your body functions are changed under autonomic nervous system and under central nervous system. So these are the things, and stress badly affects your memory. This is reported in the literature. And stress, it can be relieved with a few things, like you shred off your stress. You take a leave from those activities which bring you under stress. Number one. Number two, you regularly go to physical stress. When you have mental stress, you can counterbalance it with your physical stress, and that physical stress is your exercise, your meditation even. So when you go to physical stress, your mind is diverted. Your mind is diverted, and your hormonal profile goes to normal. So your nervous system functions normally then. So you get relief from the stress. So all these things, they are needed. So I hope I have explained the theory of stress and how it affects your body systems. Is there any other question? And if you need more elaboration, I can explain it.
Okay, Prof, thank you so much. So actually, due to the time limit, I have to stop Q&A session. So I like to say thank you to everyone who has joined the session today, and also I would like also to thank to our last keynote speaker. Actually, last but not least, we learned a lot of things from his speech, Prof.
Thank you very much.
And again, I want to thank you all again for joining us, and also at this moment we want to close the session today now.
Thank you everybody.
Thank you so much, Prof. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.